Yeah, we're rolling.
Cool. We're rolling. All right.
We can dig into it.
So this is episode 6. James from King Lincoln is with us.
Yes, Mr. Allen here.
Big fan.
Thanks.
Yeah,
I love that
He's
shirt.
repping them.
Did Bucko design this shirt? Oh, he's great. I love
Daniel
it.
makes
I've had so
fantastic
much.
art.
I've had so many compliments from the shirt.
Oh, I bet.
And I love explaining where it comes from.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, cool, and then it's kind of promotion.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, I love that, like, his art style is like, somebody that had attended a show of ours gave a really fun description for it, and they're like, it's somewhere in between Adventure Time and Where the Wild Things Are.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, that makes sense, actually.
It's a cool theme, too.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool. I wish Bucko was with this. Yeah.
Yeah, it does have kind of like an Adult Swim
Right.
cartoon art style to it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was looking through it all before, you came here today, and it's awesome work.
I don't know if Bucko told you, but I think his coworker's wife works with me.
Oh, no way?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, which is really cool.
What a trip.
Yeah, it is. It's a small world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's start off with your record, Trials.
Yes.
Man, when I was in England, we were staying at this hotel. It was a Jewish Orthodox hotel. We had no idea.
Oh, beautiful.
And I just cranked up the volume. I don't know where these guys were at. I think he might have been sleeping. I think he was snoring, but he still slept through the music.
Nice.
And he was exhausted. We walked everywhere, like trains, Ubers.
Must have not waited the night before.
Impressive, especially. That's a pretty heavy album.
Yeah. I listened to it and I was like, dude, this is the greatest thing I've heard in a while. I got so excited. Yeah, I called you right away.
Yeah. I do. That was very cool.
I was in England. I
I
called
was
you.
fucking pumped because it was like everything. We are beyond stoked about this record because like we've been sitting on these songs basically since 2020. Only 2 of the songs have been written after that.
How long did it take to record the album?
We started in. Okay, I have to think about this. We released earlier this year, right? So
Yeah,
we
back in
started.
August, I think.
Yeah, so we started early 2022.
Okay.
We were done, I want to say, in October, recording, and then mixing, mastering was all done by March.
So like a year.
Yeah. Ultimately, it's like a year-long process.
A year's a good time. I mean,
That's how long it
it
could have been
took.
faster if we weren't adults. Like,
Yeah.
having adult
That's exactly
obligations is
what I
what makes
say.
things... Because, like, lucky, because we changed the process from the previous one, right? Like, we did everything in studio with the previous album. And what we did this time, so it's all still live instrument, but instead of, like, miking up amps, we actually did DI for all of strings. So we still have live drums recorded. We did DI for strings, which made it to where all of our bassists and our guitarists were able to record on their own time, not trying to schedule time in studio with the producer.
Cool. Man, that's great.
It made it cheaper and it actually made it faster. Because you're not needing to try and figure out making that work for 2 people. You just I have one guy, myself, that I have to worry about.
At least you're not like Tool. It takes like a decade for to come out.
Yeah.
I mean, they can afford to take their time. As long as
they
they want.
can take
It's
on.
not like they're gonna get poor.
The dream of being artists like them or Lord.
Dude has a
Lord drops like
library.
an album, I think, like between 5 and 10 years. Lord, yeah.
Lord.
Yeah, dude, she because they all sell so well, she drops like an album every
What's
5
Dad's
years.
name again in South Park?
Oh, Randy.
Yeah, isn't that Lord? I thought that was Lord.
Yeah, Lord is actually a middle-aged geologist.
That's so great. You're making my job a lot easier because you've answered most of my first questions.
Nice.
Like the length of your album. Tell me more of the process of the DI thing and then vocals. I'm interested in vocals.
So drumming.
sound so
I'll start from
good.
drums and then because that's where we started, right?
Yeah.
So pretty standard. You start with your rhythm stuff.
Yep.
Our drummer Jacob Gilman, who's also the drummer for Rather Ordinary Dudes, if you guys know.
Ooh, that's a good band.
Yeah, I like
God.
that. I mean, obviously.
Very talented. Yeah.
So he recorded in Casey Peterson's studio, Mystery Shack Studios.
Great sound engineer guy.
Yeah, he's outstanding. So we did all the drums there.
Is he in your band now? No. Okay.
Like, he's mentioned being able to fill in if ever we needed it, but absolutely it'd never be a possible.
I don't know why,
because he's
Might
already
have
so
seen him.
busy between Lion and the Sloth.
He's in 2 bands.
Yeah. So between the Lion and the Sloth and Rather Ordinary Dudes, and the fact that he does sound engineering on the side,
So did he record your music?
He recorded drums, and then he did all edits for strings and drums. So we recorded Daniel and Kyle's guitar parts at Kyle's place here in Newport. Dylan recorded his bass parts at his house.
So many different locations.
Right, and then I did like all vocals, not just my vocals. All vocals were recorded in Jacob Hansen's studio in Seattle. His company is under Jacobra Records.
The vocals sound magnificent.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it was a great, interesting challenge. It's so fun. So like the EP that we recorded is mediocre, right? At best.
The first one from like 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I always thought the recorded stuff you guys had did not match up with your live performance.
A lot of it had to do with it, like...
really good.
That's kind.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of it had to do with just, I would say, inexperience in studio in the first place.
It's a different beast. Yeah.
Right. And it's funny because, like, one of the things that I got as feedback during at that time was that I didn't have strong diction, and so it was really hard to understand some of the words I was saying because I wasn't enunciating specifically consonants well enough, right?
Okay.
And then this recent recording session, because I actually took vocal lessons since then, and like that's a huge focus too, is like breath, diction, things like that, right? Well, I actually had to get feedback from the newest producer, Jacob Hansen, saying like I needed to chill out on that because he was like, some of them are making it's going through the pop filter and making the mic pop. Oh my god! It's like you need to make that P softer or whatever it was, right? It's just like you gotta change that a bit.
I gotta say, your vocals have improved amazingly.
Thank you.
Like you could just tell the difference from one record to the next, which is kind of cool. I mean, that's what bands go through from every album. They get better usually,
right?
Or if they're good from the start, you know, they just kind of evolve their sound or they change, right? Like,
right.
I don't know what example. I think Incubus is a good example.
I love
all
Incubus.
of their albums have been great,
right?
But they're like I don't know, the last album 8.
I've only a little bit listened to it.
It wasn't popular, but I liked it.
I bet.
It wasn't my favorite, but it was... my favorite is A Curl After the Murder.
Okay, yeah.
Because it's a little dark.
Yeah.
I like it when they went edgy a little bit.
That's a good...
Yeah,
I
did.
I mean, I'm that guy that, like, Make Yourself is for sure my favorite Incubus. But that's because, like, I really liked the use of their DJ that they still had at the time, right? And then songs like Make Yourself, which still incorporates like minor
in the background a bit.
Yeah, well, and then like disappeared entirely by Light Grenades.
Really?
Yeah,
he left.
Yeah, as I understand, he'd separated from the band. So Light Grenades.
I thought that was the bassist.
Might also.
Oh.
Because I don't think Light Grenades incorporates DJ at all.
I'm getting really nerdy right now because Incubus is one of my favorite bands.
I love Incubus.
Light Grenades.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's a great album.
Yeah, and that's a Brendan Boyd art piece.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. He drew that, and then I was like, oh, that's cool. Mother Nature, you know.
Sure.
Made it my own little thing. I got basically my favorite band on one side and the other, and then some local bands strewn about. You know,
fuck yeah.
Yeah, I still got to get the King Lincoln now.
Ooh, get Dan, do a modified version of one of his pieces.
That'd be cool. I honestly would like that one. I know this guy, Catfish. He's a tattoo artist.
Yeah, I know Catfish.
He should do it.
He's outstanding.
He would do a perfect tattoo for King Lincoln on me. That'd be awesome. Yeah. So Bucko, how's he been?
Outstanding.
Yeah.
He's busy now that he's like
Bucko.
all the time, like between. So now he's a homeowner. Woo, get it, buddy.
Wow.
I know.
Sick. Where does he live?
In Marysville.
Oh, cool. Not too far. Yep. Nice.
Bought a house with his girlfriend. He's busy with work. He still does music for us. Still tries to do art. So he's just a busy human.
Yeah, I love that dude. You know, when I had COVID, or when I thought I had COVID, I think it was a time where when it was snowed out. I couldn't drive to get a COVID test.
Oh, sure.
He drove all the way to me and gave me a COVID test.
What a gentleman.
I know. I can't begin to say.
Dude, he is such a nice human. Yeah. So I had to put my first pet down in 2020, right? And I definitely took some time off work because I was definitely depressed. And Dan ended up actually calling out sick one day just to hang out with me.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
that's a good
which
friend.
was so... I really needed it because my wife was working, my siblings were all working, and then like Dan just shows up at the house to hang out with me, and it was great.
That's very Latino-esque of him. You know why? Because in my mom's country, they come up to your door every day and try to have breakfast with you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they ring your doorbell in the morning, or if it's your birthday, they'll light firecrackers right next to your room. And the firecrackers over there are made of newspaper.
Oh,
so at the very end, there's like an M80.
Oh man.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking
go hard.
But now, last time I went to Guatemala, every single day they're blowing shit up.
Damn.
Like with artillery shells, and I'm like, dude, I can't sleep in this.
That's wild.
Yeah, they just have like a custom. And I talked to my family who are part of the, my uncle's a mayor there, and he's like, I can't do anything about it, Julio. It's just custom.
That's just what it is.
I'm like, fireworks every day.
Every day.
Yeah,
That's wild.
Till 4 a.m.
Ugh.
Yeah, dude.
I couldn't imagine.
So I found some of the titles of the tracks really interesting.
Okay. We'll talk about any of them. I'm happy to.
I hope you weren't dreading this question.
No, not at all.
So
as dumb as some of the names sound, they actually have some level of relevance for us. So that's why I'm happy to talk about it.
Can we talk about one of them that I found really interesting? Zebras are.
Oh yeah, even
zebras are afraid of honey badgers. I definitely want to talk about that.
So that one first originally comes about. That one's from a YouTube video or a Vine. I can't remember what it originally is, but it's some guy that's like narrating, talking about how badass honey badgers are.
Yeah, he's got kind of a lispy voice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's got like a lispy voice, and like one of the lines, he literally like, it's a honey badger lunges at a zebra, and he's like, see, even zebras are afraid of honey badgers, right?
Well, that's cool.
And so like, as soon as we heard that, Kyle and I both immediately were like, we need to name a song that. And then Kyle's like, yeah, but what would it be about? And I was just like, I don't know, something that sucks to face. And then I was like, and then I ended up writing a song about addiction.
That is exactly what I wanted to talk about. Yeah, it's amazing. There's parallels there.
Right.
With the
so it's just like something that's like awful to face for anybody, whether you're somebody that's directly like addicted or indirectly if like dealing with, I don't mean something like caffeine or nicotine. I mean something that like actually is like, right, something that
alcohol.
Makes it more difficult to function, I should say.
I was addicted to alcohol for a while.
Yeah.
I got pretty deep into it. It was in 2017 until 2019. I lost my best friend during that time.
Damn.
And I had the worst job ever.
Yeah.
And just poor. Being poor and living a meager life was not healthy for me. And the only thing I would find escape from that was my addiction. So it has a special place in my heart when people talk about that stuff and know what the experience is.
Yeah.
Because it was a hard thing to quit, to leave.
Yeah. Addiction
I had to leave Everett.
Sucks.
I had to leave fucking Everett to kind of heal.
Access to alcohol here is
I went to the ER. I even went to the fucking ER because I thought I was having a heart attack.
Damn.
Yeah. I was living with my buddy Jason.
Okay.
He was in a band. Do you remember Trauma Del Rey?
Yeah, I know Jason. We went to high school together.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Jason Hammond. Yeah.
Kind of like you and Bucko.
Mm-hmm.
He was always there for me. He was a great guy. I haven't seen him around in a bit, but I'm sure he'd be proud of me right now.
Hell yeah,
because I came a long ways since then.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and he's
good on you because it's fucking
problem.
hard.
Yeah, it was hard. Yeah.
Well, so that one, despite, I ended up taking lyrically more of the like naive, frustrated outsider approach, where so if you listen to lyrics, it's like them feeling like they put so much effort into helping this person and the person not wanting to heal yet, right? Mm-hmm. So like that's where the pre-chorus line where it's like, they said that you aren't worth the time and yet I let you waste the fuck out of mine. But like, not to say that those are my feelings, it's just like acknowledging that people do have those feelings and those experiences, right?
I can relate so much to that. I wrote a song called Shattered Glass, Broken Mirrors just about this.
Nice. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. So weird. And you were so supportive of that, and I was just so stoked to hear that there is a nice variety of genres kind of going about on your album. I hear pop punk, I hear post-hardcore,
mm-hmm.
my favorite.
Dude, yeah. I mean, I was a kid that grew up on like basically easy core, hardcore, and metalcore for the most part, right?
All the chorus.
Right. Like, I mean, when I think... So bands like Newfound Glory, like, that was the easy core side of things, where it's like Newfound Glory, 4 Years Strong, Set Your Goals, were huge bands for me.
We have the same taste.
Fuck yeah, dude. And then like, bands like Rise Against introduced me to that more hardcore side of things initially, because I actually got into them with Siren Song of the Counterculture. And so, like, State of the Union, like, was one of the first heavy songs I'd really heard.
I definitely don't like to be that guy that goes, oh, you remind me of this band.
Oh,
I try not to do that.
That's allowed.
But I understand why people do that. It's the easiest way for them to...
Well, it's them just, like, making connections.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit easier to find accessibility that way when, like, somebody actually sees a connection to something they've heard. Or experienced.
Yeah. I don't know if you... I mean, we talked about this before. Polar Bear Club.
Oh, yeah.
Screams in Caves.
Because... So
that shit reminds me of that album in itself.
The album that has Chasing Hamburg was the album that I listened to a lot.
What's the one with the bee with the bees and the...
I can't remember.
Oh, that's my favorite.
I can't... It's so
Hollowed Place.
Okay.
That's my favorite song by them.
Okay.
Anyway, I love that you incorporated all those different... Because you're the pop punk style of your vocals with the hardcore coming in. When you mix it up like that.
Yeah, I tried.
You nailed it in the sound.
Fuck
you
it,
nailed
thank
it.
you.
Like, I was so excited to call you up in Manchester, man.
A huge part of that
pause
was
on my vacation. Pause it.
Yeah. Well, so what got me into wanting to do the transitions of like heavy to clean in the same phrasing was actually Daniel Bucko got me to start listening to Every Time I Die a lot, and I fucking adore them now. And Keith Buckley is just a champion of that, where he'll just go between like rough vocals to just pretty clean singing instantly.
Yeah, that's you know what's interesting, because when Polar Bear Club stepped away from the hardcore vocals, people apparently didn't like his cleans.
Interesting.
I loved his cleans. Death Chorus was a solid album. After that, we didn't hear from them again.
So what?
There's
so many good bands that just
disappear,
and that's just the fact of the matter, since we have an outrageous art market in general.
There's a lot of bands that come and gone in Seattle, in the Seattle scene too, that I used to really love. I still have shirts in my closet.
Dude, I mean, the thing about Sleepwell Citizen probably was one of my favorite Everett bands ever.
Yeah, I think I remember. What's the lead singer's guy's name? Black hair, tall guy?
Yeah,
right?
Tyson.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, great band. Right now, I gotta say, you guys, Clothing Optional, and of course, Steel Beans.
Yeah, Steel Beans is unreal.
You guys are all on my favorites list, for sure.
Still remember, we played Steel Beans on a bill you set up, where we headlined, I think, and we had no idea what to expect out of this human. This is years ago, of course. This is pre-2020, and this is at Mirkwood. And I don't know.
And the first one was, I remember, in Lake Stevens.
So it was not the first. It was at Mirkwood while you were still booking there. And this guy gets on stage, gets all set up, and then we just thought he was setting up for several people, obviously. And then suddenly this one guy sits down with a guitar and is about to play drums and sing, and we're like, oh, what the fuck are we about to see? And then
the craziest thing is nobody was there to see him. And I'm like, are you kidding?
Well, and then it was just terrifying because he's so good, and we were like, we have to follow that.
I put you guys in that position so many times.
It's like, oh my god, he's so good.
He was really good.
He's unreal.
He is so deserving of all the fame and glory.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, he's always been a nice guy too.
Yes.
You know, that show that I booked you, I think the last one with Thomas Eric.
Mm-hmm.
Eric.
Yep.
That show was solid.
That was really good.
Yeah, and for it being that venue,
we had a lot of fun.
that interesting venue.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the local scene has kind of bounced back. I think after the COVID pandemic, venues are kind of going less like they're not putting up with cancel culture, which is kind of cool. I like that. Like the fact that, you know, even though the vessel is what it is, for venues like that, where they've had questionable bookers or things happen to them.
Well, people are booking there again now. It's just that they're waiting on a specific individual, I guess, to not be there.
Oh, currently?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay, I gotcha.
I've seen some of the bands that we play shows with have played there for sure recently.
Yep,
okay.
I have.
It's kind of a controversial topic.
Was kind of
the
a
last
place...
guy that was here did not want to talk about that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, without naming.
I mean,
I want to talk about that.
I'm not going to name.
Yeah, without naming anybody.
Because like for us, we were going to play a show, and
the more controversy, the better.
For like we had. One, we ended up being unable to play the show anyway, in which we immediately sent a message saying we were unable to do it. But then it was like shortly after that, because we'd like...
Just because of what was going on?
Yeah, we found out what was going on, we heard vague rumors about what was going on. Like really, really ambiguous stuff. So I did an abundance of research, because I was like, I don't really know what this means.
Yeah. I mean, there's
like, oh no, this person's working there. I'm like, okay. I talked to you about this, I think.
Yeah, we did.
And then I was just like, but that doesn't mean much of anything, I don't think. Like, and then after finding out some more stuff, it was ultimately like, yeah, it was very deserving that people weren't going there, but not for the same reasons that I was under the initial impression of.
Yeah.
I want to leave it that vague, too, because if I say something too much, it'll be very clear who I'm calling out.
We can't talk about that because that'd be like shaming a venue.
Right. Which, like, I mean, they took care of their stuff. Good job, them.
They did?
Oh, yeah, absolutely they did. That's why people are booking with them again.
Okay.
Like, they did the thing.
They did the thing, huh?
Yeah.
Well, okay. The thing?
Yeah, they took care of getting rid of somebody that was problematic, because it was actually problematic for the venue itself. It wasn't like, it wasn't specifically... They were preventing income, basically, from the venue. So, like, that was...
Okay. I see. Like, the guy was probably pocketing money?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was not even close to within agreed upon.
Yeah, they wanted me to they wanted me to keep booking there at some point.
Which is reasonable. You've always been, like, good about how you pay bands.
Thank you.
My experience, like, and I've never heard anybody that we've played with while playing.
I had to learn the hard way. I mean, I failed a bunch of times.
Oh, I'm sure, dude.
But I what's fucked up is being held accountable for those things that were 10 years ago.
Right.
When I was in my 20s, I was still learning how to do this.
Right.
You know,
that's fair.
It's hard because when you have to learn how to book shows, you have to learn fast, or you know, your it's kind of like a video game. You know, your rep is gonna just diminish over time. And then it's gonna kill your health.
Yeah,
it's just gonna take your health.
What do you think about that? I mean, think about how for sure after we found out stuff going on at Anchor Pub, we never.
Oh my god!
Like, and I think everybody would find that to be reasonable. That if you played there, you were going to be blacklisted if you knew what was going on, because they're just like, you're a horrible human to support that place.
Right.
Like,
you want to stay away from places that have bad reputations.
Yeah,
especially if it's something you know about
bad reputation.
If it's something you know about beforehand. Right. I mean, like the last show, well, I actually played with you guys.
Okay.
Back in October on the 26th, played at Daryl's.
Yeah. Yeah.
I kind of like playing there.
I do too,
there
actually.
A couple of times, and that was for that like Halloween.
Costume show, remember? Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, had a really great time, and that was I'm the drummer for Violent Beauregard, so we opened up for you guys.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm like. As I've said, memory's garbage.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. No, I had a lot of fun. That too.
I had a lot of fun.
There's a lot of fluctuations in the scene with venues, huh?
Well, we played 2 shows now at Daryl's, and both have been a blast. Both have had fantastic turnout. The venue's been really kind and accommodating for us.
A lot of people seem to like that place. I find it a little like they need to do a little bit of a renovation, but
I think that's a fair
reasonable. That's a reasonable. I mean, but at the same time, it is.
But I mean, like when it comes down to like, I mean, it's a dive bar, and it meets the expectations of a dive bar, if that makes sense.
With the good rep that they have, though, they should use that for a they should just up their game in that sense.
I mean, like I don't know enough about their financial side of things, but
neither
like
do I. But I would expect that Shoreline is expensive.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's the closer you get to Seattle, I guess
Plus, they've. Yeah. I mean, shout out to them. They have always paid bands really well, also. So
good.
Like that's the kind of thing that even if they get huge turnouts, I would imagine. Like based on what we've been paid by them, I feel like they primarily just run off of their alcohol and food sales, which like doesn't have a great margin, from my understanding. So
right,
like.
Let's talk about the future. What do you have planned for the future?
We're already recording.
Already recorded?
We're already recording again. We're literally
you're recording again.
Yeah, we're already.
Oh my god! Exciting.
Yeah, like we're in studio at the moment. Our drummer's recording.
Is it going to be hard? Is it going to be soft?
So this is the thing. One, we've been playing 2 covers forever, right? We've been playing Handlebars and Breed for an eternity, right? So. For fans to finally be allowed to listen to that whenever they want to, those are being recorded.
Okay.
Also, we're probably... What's funny, though, is after we're done recording them, because we're working on a new cover, we might never play them live again. Oh. Which is more of an incentive for us to actually have it recorded so people can listen to that when they want
to. Well, with certain covers, and I go through this too with my band, is we usually have 2 to 3 covers that we get really comfortable with playing, and it's like, hey, if we ever need to buffer up a a set list some
Right.
more. We got those handy. We know how to play them.
Right.
But then after a little while, you're like, hey, let's do a new song. Let's do a new one. Let's write originals too, of course. But if you're a band and you're playing at a venue, or maybe you're playing to a crowd where maybe a lot of people, some people don't know you as well. Maybe this is the first time seeing you guys. If you play a song like the ones you guys have that pretty much everybody knows who's there for that kind of music,
Right.
that really ingratiates you to them, and I think makes it them more open to your original stuff.
Yeah.
Having a good balance of all that.
I talk about it during a lot of our live shows because at this point, our fan base is like, we have a pretty devoted fan base, but it's not anything massive. But like with that, we definitely recognize when a crowd is like our fans for the most part. Like I've definitely not noticed it before, but like for the most part, we recognize it. And then like
you guys got sorry to interrupt, but you guys have new merch coming up?
we recently dropped merch for our album. It's online. We have a short sleeve tee, long sleeve tee, and a hoodie.
You guys have a website and everything?
Yeah.
Okay,
which
cool.
I need to update because we're sold out of a shirt. But like,
yeah, I went on there and I was like, wow, you guys got a lot of stuff that's like really low stock. Or you guys sold out.
And that was where we sold out of the red ghost tee. But otherwise, everything else actually has quantities.
Numbers speak a lot, right? I mean, if your merch is selling a lot, that means Bucko is doing a good job with his designs.
Dude, he's fantastic at art. And then the newer merch is done by the guy that did our album art, Andrew Gomez IV.
Yeah,
okay.
He's great.
He is.
I'm gonna hop on there soon. And
You should. He's
This
so
shirt's getting a little old.
Heck yeah, dude, he's so good. And he was fantastic to work with on album art. He was so easy to work with, incredibly professional, was clear about expectations both of like what he wanted us to do to like help make his job easier, as well as like what we were allowed to do for like edit quantities and stuff like that. Super easy to work with.
I was curious about that. When you go with collaborating with a new artist, someone you want to work with, what's that like? Was Andrew someone who had some ideas just right off the bat, or had some sketches or to show you?
He instead, when we first started talking, he was like, all right, do you guys have a concept in mind? And we laid out the concept and then he was like, all right, could you do a write-up like explaining why each of those is relevant? Like, yeah, I could totally do that. Like, because there's a reason that we actually had all this stuff in mind. So yeah, I did all that. And then
Jordan here does album work too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's an artist, a good artist.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about myself too much, but I do all the artwork for, every band I'm in.
Nice.
Every band I've been in.
That's
just because
awesome.
it's like, hey, I know how to draw. Why are we going to hire someone else?
Right.
I could do it, whatever you want.
Yeah.
But I've drawn and illustrated cover art for other bands and artists as well, which is my favorite thing to do.
Heck yeah.
As an illustrator / designer is being involved with music. Doesn't matter if it's just like a show poster. Like I did our show poster for the Daryl's Tavern show.
Oh, awesome.
Just because it's like we need someone to do it. I'm like, I'll do it.
Cool.
And but yeah, that's really cool. And then so he was able to take the description and the themes and basically.
And then, it's before starting much of anything, he was like, we started like discussing concepts and finding like where he thought things might be more appropriate to move to. So like our original concept was a Kraken, right?
Okay, yeah.
Which our album art does not look much like a Kraken.
I can see it.
Well, I mean,
somewhat.
you can see it to a point. Like we were like, we wanted a multi-eyed Kraken based off
like
of
a sea monster.
Right. It was more like based off of a small little character that appears inside the EP artwork of ours that Dan made. And he was like, well, how do you feel about moving more towards a kaiju? Like a Japanese style sea monster, right? Right. Yeah. Great. that sounds great. Like no real qualms there. And so he drew up concept and like before really diving deep asked us if we were cool with those concepts, and then that's kind of like what was the foundation for it. So
I'm looking at it right now. I really like it.
It's such a cool artwork.
Yeah.
Well, and so all the color,
100%
100% of the colors on there were from. So he asked me to make a mood board after he established the concept that included colors, general font ideas.
Yeah.
So that he could like figure out like thematically where we wanted to go with it, and all of the colors were from the palette that I provided on the mood board, which I didn't expect. I thought it would just be more of a guiding thing, and he just went with that.
Right on. Yeah. So
it was like
just a
cool.
good match.
Yeah.
So we're planning to add some of your tunes on this episode.
Sure.
Do you have any particular ones you would have in mind?
So I mean,
Do you want us to just pick which ones we?
do you have favorites?
I do.
I'd love to hear your
Okay,
favorites.
okay.
Because so interestingly, favorites of ours aren't necessarily like by ours I mean the band.
Yeah.
Favorites of ours have not necessarily been favorites. But
What's one that you're fond of?
well, okay. I have 3 favorites.
Okay.
And it's for sure Captain Overboard, Cirrus, and Taco
I love
Truck.
that one.
Like,
I love that one.
like Cirrus, Taco Truck, and Captain Overboard are my favorites.
I really like those. Actually, Cirrus is the one that I was about
Dude,
to talk
fuck
about.
yeah. Cirrus is
Yeah.
Cirrus is a good one.
Which one? Which song? I forgot which song Bucko sings on.
Axis and Arrows.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's where you get his scream for the breakdown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
I'll
the-
happily talk about that song too, because that one's concept is going to probably surprise you.
Let's hear it. Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, like, so
That's the opening
Talk
track.
about
right?
talk about your music as much as you want. Now that
Axis
we're
and Arrows is a double meaning song. So I'll start with in order of how they appear on the album. It's actually part of a loop concept. So Shipwreck Still Sailing, which is about a captain
Yep.
being overthrown, is actually about, so it's this
That's
character.
the 5th song, right? The 5th track.
I think you're fourth. It's fourth.
Oh, I was close.
So, Shipwreck Still Sailing is this character that we call the replacement, leading a mutiny to overthrow this character that we refer to as the captain. Basically, this replacement is under the impression that the captain is a horrible leader and is convinced that he would do a better job, and so he convinces everybody to murder this character. Right?
That's cool. It
So-
reminds me of Coheed and Cambria, how they have a theme going.
Right, theirs is way more intricate. and,
Right,
and
yeah.
But like, so we only 4 songs on the album have this. Captain Overboard then is actually opposite perspective. It's from the side of the captain, where he's explaining how he even became a leader. Right.
Oh my god,
So-
it's gonna add so much more to listening to.
That's
You know,
awesome.
Like it's
Yeah.
gonna make it even
So
more
like the
interesting.
intro part, I don't know if you know, the intro scream on that song is actually Kyle.
On Captain Overboard.
Yeah,
Oh really?
that's
I
Kyle.
thought maybe there was some different voices
Yeah,
there.
that's Kyle.
Okay.
Brutal. It was like,
Yeah.
we were stunned when
gotta-
he
we gotta
did
put
it.
that on.
So, the come one, come all, it's time to take our seat among the gods, right? So that's kind of like used to actually put perspective on what's going on. Like he's basically joining the military. And it's themed after the era from like where conquistadors such as like and miserable humans such as Christopher Columbus and others were exploring seas.
Hey,
and
conquistadors are my blood, dude.
fair, but
Fuck them up. But I want to be here.
but like, I'm not gonna go on that part of it. But it's more like relevance of this character recognizes that he's being asked to not like they're using the theme of going out to search for new lands as more of a cover of like please go out and perform genocide.
Yeah.
And so that's why like after the intro of Kyle doing that scream, like nobody shared disbelief with me as he sold us to our greed. That's like the first line where he's talking about like nobody else actually was experiencing the same emotions as me because like all of these individuals are just buying into it, but to me I just think this is disgusting.
So how does the main guy, the guy,
So
take over?
what happens is like so the captain ends up joining the military anyway, and that's why I have the line like resigned to live the life of a lamb, content we drank all of their poison and followed a shepherd drenched in the stench of death.
Wow.
Cool.
Right, like that's my most proud lyric I've probably ever written. And then that's where it goes into like now he's a leader, and the bridge begins where he said like to say I would make them proud was wrong. It was a contorted image that was passed along. I burned too bright to see the sun. I'm no longer sure what's important. Saying like he no longer knows who he is.
I love that you're telling a story. And what songs though would you say are more personal?
Personal,
Their content.
Cirrus and Even Zebras, because so Even Zebras
Yeah.
like
Okay,
I actually have family members that have gone in and out of addiction, and that has been a thing. Like, I've had varying emotions throughout my life during teenage years, being incredibly frustrated and like just thinking it's ridiculous, and then as an adult, like, it's a little different. So instead, like, I recognize how challenging that is.
Would you say it's more challenging writing a song like a personal?
I'm now at a, like, I ended up starting to want to write more story-based stuff that's not personal, because I feel like it's less limiting.
Okay.
Where I don't have to rely on my experiences to
That
write.
is such an interesting... Wow.
And that actually started specifically because I love the band Cold War Kids. And Cold War Kids, during a lot of their earlier music on albums like Robbers and Cowards and Dear Miss Lonely Hearts, they are way more story-driven songs that they didn't have these experiences necessarily. And with it, it's just like, I thought it led to a lot of fun lyricism. And like isolated stories that you don't necessarily need to personally relate to.
You get to enjoy the story and figure out what's going on. And
Right.
It seems fun. That seems like a really fun way to explore.
Right. Well,
because
yeah.
writing, like when you're writing music, it's kind of like you go immediately to that place where you're like, okay, what did I go through? This song, and then you just, for me, I just start singing, and then I'm like, okay, what am I talking about?
Right.
And I just write the words that and then I'm like, oh shit, this looks like it's coming from my depression, my sick obsession with death or something. I write a lot about death.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Fair.
And it's annoying. I want to escape it. So you're giving me ideas.
Right.
You're giving me ideas.
I thought it was super fun. Like, and it all started because Dan wanted to write a concept, and I was just like, let's do it.
Dan and his good ideas, man.
Well,
that guy's...
yeah. So Captain Overboard, like, the end of the song is the captain dying, right?
Okay. Yep.
And then the depths is actually the story post the replacement taking over.
I should really get you together. Sorry, with my buddy Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
He has this thing called Comic Book Tom. He sells and resells comic book. He's really prolific in that area.
Mm-hmm.
You should think about a comic book.
Get Dan to do something.
like a panel, and then
that'd be
maybe
fun.
I can.
Well, Dan and I have. This might never happen, but Dan and I have absolutely talked about. So he does a bunch of art that's not for King Lincoln, right? But they're not for anybody. And I've talked about how a lot of the pieces I would love to write poetry for, and then just like us make a book, just where he's like
graphic novel,
like, and it's from me coming up, reading like Shel Silverstein and loving. I mean, like, sure, that's more child focused, but the idea of like just writing poetry for a piece of art just seems really fun.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I mentioned the comic book idea because that's how I kind of pictured it in my head.
Yeah.
With the story.
That makes sense.
With images and with Dan's art, maybe going off like the colors, the blues and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that'd be sick.
That would
be really sick.
Yeah, like one thing I do with one of my bands, well, actually for both bands, is that each song we release, I do some kind of illustration to accompany it.
That's cool.
And originally the idea was like, well, when we put the song on YouTube and there's no video, gotta have some kind of image there.
Right.
That's maybe something beyond just the band logo.
Right.
Just to give it some visual aid, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you talk about that, creating like this illustrated poetry book, I think that's a really solid idea. And it's something that sounds pretty unique as well. And when people look at getting like merch from most bands, everybody expects like the usual stuff, right?
Just a comic book or a story, that'd be dope, man.
Dude, it'd be interesting because I mean, who knows? It might not even have affiliation with King Lincoln. It could just be like straight up poetry based off of these pieces of art that Dan had made. That was like the original.
It doesn't.
idea.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be, but it could be something
Just sell it anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
By the way,
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, something written and produced by members of the band.
If you were to make a comic book or a graphic novel or a book of any kind about the story you're talking about, I'd be the first person to buy it.
Dude, hell yeah.
I'm telling you right now, and I'm telling you it would sell because it's such a good idea.
Yeah.
And there's many outlets you can go to get published. And like I said, I can definitely give you that information later.
Hell yeah.
Tommy Garcia, I went to elementary school with him.
Nice.
Very, very good guy, and prolific in his field with comic books. I mean, he handed me a bunch of comic books that I'm like, I have no idea like what's special about them. But he's like, dude, these are limited edition whatever. And I'm like, okay, nobody's read this. I'm like, sweet. And I still haven't read them, but they're still in their package.
That's awesome.
I did read the Ninja Turtle. No, wait. He gave me a Spawn and a Joker one.
Nice.
The Killing Joke. He gave me the Killing Joke, I think.
Cool.
That one was excellent. Anyways, we're going off. But yeah, that would be great. I think that would be a great idea to add to the merch table. You know, like what the comic book. I think that would just get out.
Yes, or it would be a pretty unique way of presenting material.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Man, I would have an episode dedicated to that book.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that'd be great. So yeah, let's talk about your future shows. Do you have any shows lined up?
Nothing official. We have several potential shows.
Oh, okay.
So like we've agreed that like we have been in discussion with some bands about dates in February and March, but nothing at the moment. And like right now, December is basically impossible. Our bassist is going on vacation out of country.
Yeah, it's the holidays.
Yeah,
it's just a slow period.
Philippines and Japan.
Wow,
I'm jealous. Actually, I would love to go. And then
you guys should.
Outside of that, we're still recording. Like, so we have the 2 covers we're recording, and we're recording a single that's going to be on the heavier side of things.
Ooh,
yeah.
You know, I like me some heavy.
Dude, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And then after that, we're going to hopefully we'll have 3 other songs ready to record also as singles. And so we've got all sorts of stuff.
Singles, covers.
Yeah,
but
they'll be released as singles. So just like individual song will be dropped.
Will they be on an album later or just?
They're just gonna be on their own.
Okay, I love albums. I have.
So that's the thing.
I have attention span, a bigger attention span than most people. I like to.
Well, so this is the thing. These ones are realistically like as we see them B-sides, which is why they're just gonna be dropped as singles.
Okay.
Because we have 3 songs we're gonna drop on an EP or we're gonna start recording an EP next summer. All cat themed, right?
So I love cats.
Yeah. Planned name at the moment, which who knows, this might not even be the thing, is called Sorry Kitty. and then after that, we're planning on recording a 10-song album. We have a ton of material.
Damn, dude, you guys have your shit lined up.
Yeah, we're gonna be busy for the next couple of years. We're right now still trying to schedule a music video. For Even Zebras, actually.
Music video. Oh, you know me. I love it. Music video.
Yeah. Have you guys made a music video yet?
No,
I couldn't find one.
None.
Oh, okay.
That's a huge part. Like it
you have
helps.
Somebody who was gonna do that for you.
Yeah.
Cool.
Brandon Hartstock.
We're working with him. He did mine, and he did an incredible job.
He did also the line and the slots.
Shit. Yeah,
they've been outstanding too. So
I've had like 2 different guys do my videos, and I gotta say, Hartstock's my favorite.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
His work's fantastic.
That's really cool. I'm actually really stoked to hear that you're making a music video.
Yeah. Well, we're planning. We want to do 2 for the album. So
how's it gonna be? Do you have an idea of what's gonna happen in the video?
So because of it being themed around addiction, the plan at the moment is kind of going through a character that's suffering from alcoholism, but actually working towards being better.
You wrote a song about me?
I don't know.
Thank you.
So like,
thank you.
Trying to give the impression of them going through AA meetings and the struggles associated with addiction.
Yeah, I will never say that I was a full blown alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
I do have family that were alcoholics.
Mm-hmm.
So I was on that road. I was a binge drinker more so. I wasn't much like I wouldn't drink all day every day, but I would just go and fucking just binge.
Right.
So I think it's very popular to be like, yeah, I'm an alcoholic. I'm like, are you though? Are you?
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, what I mean is like
I get what you're saying.
I don't like to. I'm not claiming to be an alcoholic at all or ex-alcoholic. Because I don't feel like feel like it'd be very that's just bullshit. It's not true.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I never went to AA meetings. I never, about AA meetings. A lot of them are dogmatic. They need they just hand you a crutch. God will save you. Blah 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 blah. They need ones for people who are non-believers, because what happens when an atheist becomes an alcoholic, and then they go to an AA meeting? A problem. Yeah, so
I don't know. I mean, I haven't had those experiences. So like,
I've been to AA
a lot of
they're all about God, and then I see people just fall off the wagon, and then they blame it on God. Right.
It's a bummer.
It's like you gotta make that decision to yourself and acknowledge that that's your path.
Mm.
Nobody else is responsible. Not God. Not your whoever your God is.
Right.
It's your conscious decision to make that effort, you know? And that's why I think that AA meetings should have options for people who aren't religious.
Okay.
You know? Because I've sat there, you know, remember the fire wheel?
Mm-hmm.
That's where the NA meetings, AA meetings would be held there.
Really?
Yeah. So while I was, working on my shows, I'd be listening in, and I wasn't a part of the meetings.
Right.
But, at that time, I wasn't drinking at all, really. So, but that's just got, I just got me an idea, like maybe there should be an organization for people who aren't religious.
Fair.
So James, when are you gonna be shooting the music video? Do you have like a schedule?
Segue.
We were hoping.
Just like enough.
we were hoping to record last month, but adult schedules make things challenging.
Yeah, it's hard in the winter too, or fall.
So now we're
Around this
looking
time.
at recording in January. Post our bassist making it back,
Cool.
and then
So next year.
So yeah, it would put
Go.
the release of the music video sometime in February or March, is my guess.
Yeah, because you gotta shoot it and then you gotta edit it.
Right.
It's a whole process.
Right.
You're gonna film it in Everett?
Yeah, that's the plan. Well, part of it, yes.
I don't know why, but that area in front of Midnight Grocery Store, I
Mhm.
love filming there.
Well, I mean, with our whole concept, it'll probably partially be recorded at my house and then partially be recorded elsewhere. Which,
the streets are Everett or have
Yeah.
have an edge,
yeah.
Like,
Well, we're not trying to go too hardcore because we don't want it to be like a trigger heavy, right?
Mm.
what do you mean?
Especially
by,
when that song's like really
what do you
poppy.
mean by what do you mean by trigger?
well, I mean, like, so for individuals that are like are alcoholics or are dealing with individuals that are like have family that's trying to work through alcoholism too, it can be hard to watch stuff that's like leaning too heavily into that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I saw a video from one of my old favorite bands, The Lost. They had a video. It was very short. It was 2 minutes.
Mhm.
It was really good. But the first 50 seconds of it was just a woman overdosing.
That's hard.
Yeah. So you mean that?
Yeah, like not trying to
Nothing
go
too hardcore. Nothing
Right.
too.
Yeah, don't make it
Provocative.
exploitive.
Yeah,
Or at least, not...
we're
I
gonna-
understand. You
like-
want the video to be more of a something...
well, and
helpful
even like ending on a positive note is a
Yeah.
huge part.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I guess we'll
I'm
see what
interested.
happens.
I want to see what the storyboard is.
It'll be fun.
I'm curious. I love this stuff. I love narratives.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then after that, we'll probably, based on popularity, will probably be, if we do a second music video, it'll be for Taco Truck.
Right on.
Will you actually feature a taco truck?
We would have to figure out a way to rent a food truck.
Oh man, that'd be perfect.
Because, I mean, that's, as goofy as it is, song name is actually relevant. Like, it's
Okay.
actually about the owner of a taco truck.
Want to tell us about it?
Sure, if you want. Like,
Please.
so no, that song's straight up about the owner of a taco truck and them, like, just being frustrated with not feeling like they're making enough money, and then also feeling as though peers that are putting in equal or less work into
The basic
theirs,
restaurant thing. But in a
are
taco
like
truck.
are being more successful, right?
Oh, okay.
So like that's why like it heavy focus on like envy, jealousy throughout that song, just feeling like I've put in so much work and these guys have put in way less and they're way more successful, and that's frustrating. Like
That's
that kind of
frustrating.
thing.
Oh, okay. That's,
Like yeah.
That's relatable. I don't know. I've known
I had
some
a lot
people
of
who tried to
right.
get into that business, and it sounds like such a fun, exciting thing. But you often get into the reality of it where it's just like, okay, it costs a lot of money.
It does.
It's such a risky thing.
Food in general is just very expensive.
Yeah.
Like I've talked to
And just incredibly time consuming.
I mean, like, I have a way more vague understanding just because I don't personally do it, but from my understanding of individuals that are owners of restaurants, breweries, or other such things, it's like food itself runs on like a 3 to 5% margin,
Yeah.
which is incredibly stressful. Because
Well, for sure. I
you worked in
mean,
food for a long time, didn't you?
being
I worked retail.
Retail.
Yeah.
Right, you worked at Hot Topic.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
10 years of retail.
being a
Was Hot Topic the
musician.
only place?
I did Adidas and Quicksilver.
Oh.
And Quicksilver, I was there for almost 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love seeing you at the mall.
Yeah, well, being a musician or any kind of creative person, you're gonna have some ties or background.
Right.
Unless you're lucky, or just you're just wealthy to start with, you're gonna have ties or experience with some kind of service job, whether it's food service or retail.
And most people around, well, I guess like younger generations in general, I shouldn't even say around our age, like are going to work in whether that's retail, food service, or whatever, and get those experiences. And but then like the song's focus is mostly around like being self-employed or doing something that's like an artistic outlet that you're trying to monetize.
Yeah.
And just being frustrated, feeling like you're not making returns that you think you're worthy of.
Right. Yeah, that's super
relatable,
relatable,
industry
man.
for a long time.
Nice.
Yeah, I actually worked at Red Robin.
Oh, nice.
One time. I actually applied for a server position, but I think they looked at me and they're like, "Yeah, you're not hot enough. You're gonna go in the back and work in the kitchen." I'm like, and being a kid, I'm like, okay, dude, that was horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I witnessed some questionable things.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. Like, have you ever seen the movie Waiting?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure
I'm sure a lot of it comes down to, like, most of the people that are working there are, like, mid-20s or younger. So you're like, you do...
3-second rule.
You're like,
3-second
you just
rule.
do a bunch of dumb shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
I didn't do it. I didn't do anything.
I say
just
you,
witnessed it.
not
Like,
saying you. It's a poor term that I use. But, like, people in general will do a lot of dumb shit, especially at younger ages.
I could never do something to somebody's food. That's fucked up.
Right.
No way. I couldn't do it. No matter how big of a jerk you are, I couldn't do it. But hey, James, I want to say thank you for being on episode 6.
Thanks.
Man,
Yeah.
I love you so much. Thank you.
Thanks.
Before we head out here, where's the best place to keep track of you guys? What's a great place to get your music?
Yeah.
So music stuff, we're on most streaming services. We're on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple Music.
Okay.
For following us,
We can post the links, right, on the video?
sure. Like for following us, like really, our Facebook or Instagram are really
sing us
good.
this one?
Sure. Yeah. And then we also have a website. Which,
Yeah.
Like we did try and post show stuff there, but like it was really challenging because with where we're at, most shows themselves don't actually have like pre-sale tickets. Like some do, sure, but like most don't, and so then it's like it's information, but that it like is harder to track because people don't get notifications associated with it. Versus if they're using something like an event on Facebook, you get
Right.
notifications associated with that.
Sure. What about if people want to you have your stuff in physical formats too, like CDs,
We do.
vinyl.
We don't have vinyl.
Well, yeah, that's.
I wish.
Everybody wants to do vinyl, but it's such an
it's-
undertaking.
It's
expensive.
expensive. It's
Yeah.
very, very expensive. And with the amount of costs associated with recording already, which
investment.
for anybody that's not in music, it would probably surprise you to know we've spent like somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000 just on recording our
Wow,
music.
dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, because album art itself was like in the 1,500 range, right?
Yeah.
But you know, all that investment paid off because
Oh yeah.
it gave your vocals, it gave your guys in the band.
I am not upset about any of the
It
stuff
made
that
it-
we got out of it.
Yeah.
Our artwork is outstanding. Andrew Gomez IV did fantastic work. Our recordings all outstanding.
And man,
Jacob Hansen
congratulations, dude.
and Casey Peterson did fantastic work.
Congratulations on your album, man.
Thanks,
I
dude.
really
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So yeah. Anyway, yeah, definitely check out Titles. Check out King Lincoln. Just look out for them on their next show. Just look out for their music video. Just 2024. I think it's gonna be a killer year for you guys.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too.
We got a lot coming.
Can't wait to get my new shirt.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, thank you. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Thanks for watching, guys, and yeah, we'll see you next time.
All right. Bye.